Last week, we heard and saw the Lexus LFA successor. We expect it to be called the LFR, and it should be coming fairly soon. We have new information coming out of Japan about this high-performance beast to follow in the footsteps of the original LFA. Let's get into it. Big surprise that this information is coming out of Best Car, the most reliable source of information of upcoming Japanese cars. We'll touch on this and a couple other things, but Toyota's supplier gets a new chief, and he is going to be leading the charge when it comes to electrification, helping Toyota out, getting the right motors, inverters, etc. for the electrification era. And then also at the end, since we're on the topic of Lexus, we're going to talk about the new Lexus LM minivan. But you guys came here for the LFA2, so let's get into the details of what Japan is calling the LFA2. I fully expect this vehicle to be called the LFR. We'll talk more about this Alphard and Velfire here in a little bit. Let's go to the next page, and this is where we get the hot sauce for the LFA2 is what they call it. Let's first take a look at this image. Will it look like this? And if it does, I'm perfectly okay. I think it looks gorgeous. I think things from the, let's say, behind the front wheel and back are fairly accurate, but you got to keep in mind what we have from Lexus and Toyota already is already patented. It's this design right here, which does not look that much like the image we just looked at. So I'm not sure why Best Car is coming up with an image that doesn't look exactly like this, because this is 100% confirmed at this point. And it'll look like this, and at least in GT3 form. I expect Lexus to make actually a GT3 streetable version of this LFR twin turbo V8. But let's talk more about the powertrain, because we have some details here that is quite surprising. So we have twin turbo V8, but they are saying it is a hybrid, and the engine alone, not the hybrid setup, is being developed with the goal of achieving a maximum output of 720 PS. I'll put exactly what that is in like imperial horsepower. That should be somewhere around 700 horsepower. So we've heard rumors in the past that this twin turbo V8 from Lexus would produce somewhere around 600 plus horsepower, but now their goal is like 700, which seems insane. And that's not adding the electric motor assist. And it is set to debut in summer of 2025. Is it possible that this vehicle from 2025 could only have a 5-year run? I guess that's entirely possible as well. But still, that's 5 years of production compared to the LFA's 2 years of production. So my estimations of 700 horsepower combined, it actually could be higher than that, because they're expecting 720 PS just from that twin turbo V8. And that should compete well from what we see across the lineup here. Now, Toyota is very proud of their hybrid technology, so why not go out with a bang with full electrification breathing down their backs and come out with fire-breathing twin-turbo V8 hybrid, possibly plug-in hybrid if they want to give it a little bit more juice as well. So it'll be a lot of fun to see what kind of variations do they come with this powertrain. We know the GT3 vehicle has to have around 500 horsepower, and man, it would be amazing if Toyota and Lexus gave us a manual transmission with it, but don't get your hopes up there. Now, moving on to supplier Denso. This is a big deal for Toyota. Their number one supplier, or I should say their top two suppliers, are Aishin, which is their big transmission supplier. Aishin also supplies transmissions for a lot of other manufacturers, FCA, Volvo, etc. Denso also supplies not only to Toyota, but to the entire industry. So 50% of their business is Toyota, and Toyota used to own Denso 100%. Then they let them go on their own so they could supply other manufacturers a little bit better. Denso, still a part of the Toyota's motor group, though, has picked senior executive and chief software officer Shinosuke Hayashi, 59, to take over as president and chief operating officer. And it's not coincidence. This comes right after when Koji Sato takes helm, and it needs to clear house essentially and appoint the right people, not only in his business, but in the businesses that directly affect his business. And Denso is absolutely one of those. So I wouldn't be surprised if this guy was handpicked by Koji Sato himself. The new president, Hayashi, is well versed in software and electronics, has been deeply engaged in developing products that contribute to cars of the case era, which means connected, autonomous, shared, and electric. Hayashi pointed to the sea change triggered by the rise of EVs and software-defined vehicles, and we will respond by transforming our portfolio, which includes production and supply structure as well as engineers' skills. They might even be clearing house on their current engineers, ones who are more capable and well-versed in electrification. Japan is developing EV and software-related technologies at the same pace of the world, Hayashi said. While overseas car makers are leading in terms of bringing battery-powered EV to the market faster, he said, we have been moving into the development of inverters and power cards for zero-emission vehicles from an early stage. And he goes on to say, we will not be defeated globally. We know Toyota and Denso know electrification really well, especially hybridization, and they know that they are behind when it comes to fully electrified. They understand how it all works, but it's so hard to change the direction of such a massive company. And that's why like Tesla's been able to ramp up so quickly, because they have no baggage, nothing holding them back other than green pastures ahead, where Toyota and all the other OEMs that have built internal combustion engine vehicles for so long have all this additional baggage that they have to find ways, cost-effective ways, to transform that into somehow electrification. It's not easy to do. It's going to be a slow and painful process for Denso and for Toyota to switch their companies to produce so many battery electric vehicles. They have the know-how, but it's really, there's just so much cost involved. I'm not sure. Denso will be absolutely fine the age of electrification. And I mean, their business could actually take off here as they switch over, as everyone is switching over for the most part. But it's the smaller suppliers that's really going to be what happens to them. And a lot of these smaller suppliers only make parts for internal combustion engine cars or hybrids. And how and if they can transform is going to be very interesting, not only for those small companies, but there's so many of them that employ so many people in Japan that it could have a big effect as well. And lastly, Lexus is showing their world premiere of the LM minivan on April 18th, which is surprising because if we go back to this article here, they are talking about the new Velfire and Alphard, which the grills can't get any more ridiculous. I thought they were already over the top with the last generation of Alphard and Velfire, but it's going even further, at least what they're expecting, with the grill taking over the lights now. But they're saying it will be announced on June 7th. So Lexus, in theory, is getting priority here because it is being unveiled April 18th, and just like a week from today. And this will be going on at the Shanghai Motor Show. Now, what's interesting is that this vehicle is being promoted here on the European Lexus newsroom. And this is going to be newly introduced into the European lineup for the first time with this new generation. We have a little teaser image here. So we have a floating roofline a la like Honda Odyssey, for example, where we don't have that sort of floating roofline on the Alphard or Velfire, for example. Now, interestingly, over at Australia, they also have a small press release about it as well. So it could be coming to Australia. We know these vehicles are big in China. Obviously, that's where it's being announced. Singapore, it's big there. So like in other markets, especially in Asia, the minivan, the luxury minivan, is the end-all be-all to comfort and luxury for VIP customers. Here in the United States, I guess it's like massive SUVs. So stay tuned. I will reveal the Alphard and Velfire luxury version, the Lexus LM, here for you guys. And in different markets, it has different powertrains. I think it has a 300H, for example, which is a 2.5 liter hybrid. I think that might only be front wheel drive. It'll be interesting to see how the powertrains change. And I think in some markets, there's also the V6, which will be replaced by the 2.4 turbo. 99% sure on that one. But I'll see you guys down below on your thoughts on this LFA successor. Japan's calling it LFA 2. I'm expecting it to be called the LFR. Could be seeing well over 700 horsepower with some sort of hybrid, whether it's plug-in hybrid or just a strong hybrid. Don't expect it to be a mild hybrid at all. If you made it this far in the video, I'd appreciate a like, smash, and make sure you subscribe for updates on this vehicle. It will be coming, fingers crossed, by 2025. And I think that's kind of where Lexus has insinuated in the past where this vehicle will fall. And I know 100% that the LFR, or the GRG T3 concept, has been showed to Lexus dealers with a Lexus badge on it. So I know this vehicle is coming for Lexus 100%. And it'll be a lot of fun in the next 2 years. It'll be a slow lead up, but man, twin turbo V8, the swan song of the V8. It'd be nice to have the V10. It's not going to happen, but beggars can't be choosers as everything is going electric. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.